and welcome back to the Dreamcast. I am your host, Denise Walsh. I combine science, scripture, and stories that will inspire you to dive deep, break through your own personal glass ceiling, and design a life of your dreams.
Are you in a transition, ready for your next step, but you're unsure as to what that next step actually is? Or maybe you feel stuck, unclear, or just plain bored with life. I have been in that space myself, and instead of looking everywhere else for the answer of what should I do next, I realized that I had to create my own space and allow my own answers to bubble up. And this is exactly why I created Dream Space Online for you. It's an e-course that gives you that space needed to reconnect with your spark, release anything that may be holding you back, and create a game plan for your dreams. With 14 strategic exercises that will help you unlock your life's purpose and develop your action plan, guaranteed. In this next year, we all have a choice to make. Do we stay where we are, wondering why it's not working, or do we ask for help and learn new skills that will take us in a new direction? And for a limited time, you'll receive $1,000 in bonuses thrown in, including a 30-minute clarity call with me. I cannot wait to walk alongside you in this journey. So to learn more and purchase Dream Space online, check out jointhedreamspace.com. That's jointhedreamspace.com. Big welcome back to the Dreamcast. Oh my gosh, you guys. I am really excited. I'm always excited for our guests, but I have to tell you, this next guest is someone who I feel like we'll be friends for quite a while. Like, this is somebody who's on the same page as all of us here listening, because she's a visionary and she is a mama. You know, she's a mom of 3. She loves her family, but she knows that she was made for more, and she loves to give back, which is exactly why she created the Mommy Millionaire podcast, which is one of the top 100 podcasts, because she wants to add value to all of us who decided that we want to thrive in all areas of life. She's a mom of 3. She's a self-made millionaire and a lifestyle entrepreneur. She started off by saving lives as a nurse in the ER, working 12-hour shifts. How many of you out there are in that space right now where you have this heart to help people, but you're doing it in a way that is not working for your family? So she decided to make a change, and she started off in network marketing several years ago, grew a thriving organization, and is now taking that wisdom, experience, and heart for others to the masses. So big Dreamcast welcome to Cayla Craft.
Yay! I'm so excited to be here. And I need you to wake me up with that intro every morning.
I am excited to continue to get to know you. I've been following you for quite a while. I love the content that you're putting out. And you absolutely do speak our language, because you went from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset, and now you're blowing it out of the water. So tell us a little bit about how you got started as an entrepreneur.
I was, like you said, I was working in the ER as a nurse. I was 23 years old. I had a 1-year-old at home. I was newly married, and network marketing came into my life. And at that time, I used to tell people, I'm not a salesperson. I just know how to, do CPR. I don't know what I'm doing here. But what happened was I met the founder of my company. And he said, oh, you could be a millionaire with this company. You could do whatever you want. And he just said it so matter of fact. I was like, I've never met anybody like that before. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be a millionaire with this company. And in less than 3 years, I became a millionaire in my company. And it was that moment that really changed everything for me. It wasn't the stuff leading up to it. Is when I called myself a millionaire, I was like, oh my gosh, I said it out loud. I declared this over my life, and it actually happened. And that's when I was started to dream bigger, and just thought so much bigger about everything we were going to create in the world. And that's why, I created Mommy Millionaire. But, in order to even have that belief that I could do that, first somebody spoke it into me, right? So somebody said, I see this in you, you can do this. And so I knew that was the number one thing that I had to do with my life, was speak it into people. And so I started doing a lot of that from day one of building my network marketing business, is just speaking it in. And anything I saw great in people, it was like, that's what I needed to say out loud. And so, people think it needs to be like this big, like huge marketing strategy. And my strategy has always been to speak life to people first and foremost. And that's when everything, started to shift. And when I became an entrepreneur, I'm like, oh, you can get paid for, being nice to people. Perfect. I'm in the best business ever. Okay. So I just never complicated it. And I think a lot of people, they complicate it. They want to know, well, what do I say when somebody says I don't have money? What do I say when somebody says, is that a pyramid scheme? It's like, who cares? I didn't even pay attention to that white noise. I was like, that's just distracting me. All I need to do is just say what I love about people and ask them what they want to do with their life and just keep it simple. Keep it simple. I always say, keep it simple, sexy. The kiss, instead of keep it simple, stupid, we say, keep it simple, sexy. But that was really my strategy of going from an employee to an entrepreneur, is doing it completely different. How I show up as an entrepreneur is completely different than how I showed up as an employee, because all I had to do as an employee was clock in and, do the task, take down notes and do all of the things I was trained to do. And in an entrepreneur world, nobody's telling you what to do. Nobody. So you just have to figure it out. So you go to the drawing board and you say, well, how would I want my life to look? If I could have my dream life right now, what would I want to be doing all day, even if I never got paid for it? And my answer was, well, I do. I want to lift people up. I want to be kind to people. I want to have fun. And so that's what I did. And that's the best thing about becoming an entrepreneur, building a network marketing business, is the more fun you make it, the more enjoyment you can have along the way. Honestly, that's when the money comes in quicker, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said a couple things. So
I kind of rambled. Sorry, I kind of did that.
No, I'm all right. I'm taking notes. Okay, so first of all, someone spoke into you. Mm-hmm. They casted belief for you. And I think, again, you guys think back to a time when you caught a vision or where you thought, maybe I can do this. I tell my team all the time, our biggest job is to flip the switch for people, for them to say, I can do it too. Because often they'll say, oh, good for you. But they don't have the personal belief. So I love that someone spoke it into you and you noticed it enough to duplicate it. Mm. Because a lot of times we're going through the motions and we don't realize what's working, and we're not duplicating it within our team or in our family because we're just kind of going through the motions. So you started speaking it into people, into prospects, into your team. Tell us a little bit about how you would notice what they're good at and what you would say and why it worked.
Ooh, this is a good question. Okay, let me find a specific example. Okay, actually, in the beginning, one of the first people I enrolled was somebody that did my eyelashes. And what I loved about her is that she was such a great listener, and she always made everybody around her feel special. And so I knew I wanted her in my business. And I just said, you know what? I love spending time with you. I always feel like getting my lashes done is like my therapy session, because you're such a good listener and you make me feel heard. You make me feel seen. And I honestly, there's not enough people like you in this world. What do you think about bringing that to the table and building a business with me? And, I think she was the third person I signed up in my network marketing team. So it's just little things like that. When you pay attention to people and you start going, instead of saying gosh, what annoys me about this person? Because sometimes that's our paradigm, right? Is even with our friends, we're like, gosh, she's so annoying when she does that. But change your perspective and say, what do I love about this person? Constantly be asking that question. What do I love about this person? And then when you figure it out, it could be something so simple, right? It could be, I love the way that you laugh after, somebody tells a bad joke. I mean, it could be something silly like that, but, pour life into people. There's too much negativity out there in the world. So when you say positive things, it causes you to stand out.
It does. It does. People remember you, right? Because you number one, noticed something about them. And then you, number two, said it to them. Again, very different than the average person. And then I love that you connected it back to your business. You would be so good at this. Not only are you is this a great quality, but I really think you could be good at what I do. And you brought it back to how they could make money with it or be successful in your business.
Oh yeah, always. 100%.
Yeah. Okay. And then within your team, because I think sometimes people sign up in a business, no matter what it is, whether it's network marketing or they want to create friendship bracelets out of their, garage. still they're going to have some fear. They say yes, they spend some money, they don't know if it's going to work. All these things start to brew. How do you create that life culture within your organization?
I love this question. And what I would have people do is write out a list of, because, especially as you're building a bigger team, you don't get to meet everybody one-on-one. So you have to learn how to leverage your time. So I would use, we didn't even use Zoom back then. Isn't that crazy?
We did it.
Those things.
I know.
So I used to use
three-way calls all the way.
Yeah, and then free conference call, right? So I used to do a free conference call every morning at 6 a.m. And it would just be a 15-minute quick call that I would get people pumped up about. But I would always give them like a task to do that had nothing related to the business. Because if you guys understand anything about life, mindset is the foundation of everything. So what you think about, you bring about. And so to help people get into this mindset, first, if you want to notice things about other people that are awesome, you first have to notice it about yourself. Okay. And a lot of us, because we're self-critical, and we like to blame ourselves for everything wrong in our life. Like I would ask people, I say, what do you love about yourself? And they'd be like, crickets. And these are like amazing people you would ask this of, but we don't spend enough time there. So I would give them challenges like that. Like write out 100 things you love about yourself. Okay. Write down. And my thing is always 100 because you'll be so surprised. People will write down like 5 and there's nope, don't stop until you get to 100. So then you're writing out like silly thing like my eyelashes, but it's like, we need to love that, right? Like if you didn't have eyelashes, you would hate that about yourself. So let's love everything we want to keep and like write down 100 of your successes. So in your lifetime, what has been like a success for you? It could be the fact that you learned how to ride a bike. It could be the fact that you know how to put on those magnetic lashes that nobody else knows how to do. I mean, it could be something silly, but it's a success. You get to define success. And so getting people in the habit of looking for the good in everything, we're training our brains to do something different. Because, our paradigm from being in school, from being a kid, we start to have this paradigm after 7 years old of like looking for the bad, looking for the problem. Okay. Because that's what we hear constantly from our parents, from our teachers, all this stuff. So we have to completely retrain our brain to look for the positive, look for the good. Okay. So this is what I would have people do. And once we realize it in ourselves, we can see it in other people, right? In order to, even if we're annoyed by other people, like let's say somebody talks a lot, I talk a lot, I get annoyed by other people that talk a lot. And but it's my projection of the fact that I don't like that I'm rambling right now, right? But we can only notice in other people what we have in ourselves deep down, so we have to first recognize it.
Ooh, so you really took them on a journey of discovering who they are, their gifts, their skills, so then they could help other people do the exact same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Because if you can't help yourself, you're not going to be able to help anybody. And some of us, like you, Denise, you probably already innately were doing this, right? Without building a business. And so when you came into this, it's like, oh, let's go. Easy, easy. And you did it without even realizing you've been doing this your whole life. And there's a lot of people that are like that, right? And they come in and they have success quickly because they're already that type of person. But the majority, I'm talking like 99.5% of the people that are coming into your team do not do this innately, right? They're not the natural people. So we have to teach people this. Once you teach people this is a skill that will change their entire life. Oh my gosh. So good.
Yeah. Yeah. Not just their business. They'll see the fruit in their business, but they'll also see the fruit in their health. They'll see the fruit in their family. They'll see the fruit in all areas.
Yep, exactly.
You started in your business. You worked for a few years while you were a nurse, building up your business. You were able to transition to full-time entrepreneur. Tell me a little bit about how you were able to maintain, sanity, balance. What's the word? Like, how do you do it all well? Like, how do you not drop the ball somewhere as you're growing your business?
Well, there are balls that are dropped, right? So first of all, just saying that. Not perfect, but one thing I think is I've always had help. So I was still actually a nurse. I was still working as a surgical nurse because I was so scared to give up my identity as a nurse. I was making about $750,000 to $800,000 a year in network marketing, and I would not give up nursing. It was crazy. But what I did was I hired an assistant and a nanny to help me with my team and then with my family life. And I think a lot of people don't realize that people have help in some way or another, whether it's family members helping out, a husband that steps in to really take on, the traditional mom roles, but right away, like And I think it's because I was raised by a single mom. So I constantly saw her ask for help. That was innate in me. I asked for help. Like I had no shame in asking the neighbor next to me, like, will you watch my kids for, 30 minutes so I can go do a presentation? Like that was what I did. So I think people need to realize that anybody that wants it all, you do not get it all alone. And you've got to have a great team. And I'm realizing that even more as I build, Mommy Millionaire out. I mean, we have a staff of 7 people now just for Mommy Millionaire, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow in 2020. And that's the secret to scaling anything is a great team. Just like with your network marketing team, like the better team you have, the more, impact you're going to make. And so you got to get help. You got to put the right people in the right positions. I am not gifted at like getting the kids ready for school in the morning. Okay. Because I'm all over the place in the morning. I like to lollygag. I have no concept of time. So my husband is the one that gets them to school. He makes the lunches. He does all of that. And most people go, oh, like my husband would never do that. Well, I never thought my husband would do that. And he's doing it and he loves it now. But I'm telling you that story because I just decided it was going to be that way, that our life is not going to look like my neighbor's. Like my neighbor, she's a stay-at-home mom. She's amazing. Her husband goes to corporate and, works, 70 hours a week. They also have a nanny and she's a stay-at-home mom and she's amazing. But like my life looks so different than her. And if I was like going to compare it to her, have it all life and mine, it's night and day, right? So like I have to do what works for me. I have to create my own rules. Everybody listening in right now, create your own rules and live by them, right? And know that you can change the rules at any time. And so, that's what we do. Chase and I, we live such a crazy life, it's so fun, but most people couldn't live it because it's not normal. It's
well, and you said you had to shift your identity. You are somebody who asks for help. You didn't have the fixed rule of I have to do it all. And a lot of us who grow up, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And so I thought that I had to have dinner on the table by 5:00 and that it had to be XYZ. And I was going to be the one to do all of the things. And I remember in my shift where I was like, my mom was not building a multi-million-dollar organization. Right. It is going to look different. Yes. And I love my mom and I learned a lot from her, but it looks very different. So I took the things that I wanted to and I outsourced the rest. Yeah. And what happens when you do that is you get so much more brain space.
Oh my God.
So then you really can continue to create, right?
Absolutely. And like, so when I was first building my team, I would give them a ladder. So when they started making $500 a week, I said, okay, you need to hire a housekeeper. At $500 a week, you hire a housekeeper because then you get back time you can pour into your business. And so at every level, we would give them different things to hire out. Again, we're not taught this in school. It's not normal for you to hire people. But in like our world, like, it has to become the new normal in order for you to grow. Because then like divorces happen. I mean, all this crazy stuff that you never want to happen ends up happening because you're putting these expectations that are not real. Like they are not real on your family and you feel like a failure and then everything's downhill from there.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So you guys think about that. What are you doing that is income producing or is life-giving to you? And then what are some things that you can outsource and ask for help? And I can tell you, like Cayla mentioned, it's going to give you back time to build your business and do the things that you love that bring you back that joy. Yeah, I love the ladder.
A great thing to ask yourself is, give yourself a goal. Like, what do I want to be making in 2020? It's 2020 now. And let's say you want to be making $1 million a year. Okay. So let's say in the real world, you'd be working 40 hours a week, probably. And we all know this, that like you're probably working that much. Okay. So a cool thing to do is you multiply 40 times 52. Okay. So you find out, okay, these are how many hours I'm going to be working in the year. And then what you would do is divide 1 million by that number of hours that you're willing to work. Then you find out, okay, this is what I'm getting paid per hour. And if like, cleaning a toilet doesn't equate to a couple $1,000s an hour, then that has to go, right? If checking your email does not equate to that, it does not equate to that. I can tell you that. If you're making $1 million a year, you should not be checking your email. You outsource that. That's when you get a virtual assistant. So always check that. Like get your gut in check and go, okay, if I were to gain 160 hours back in my life a month, right? Because I hired out something in my business or in my life, if I'm not further ahead of where I should be in 30 days from now, I can cut that employee, right? I can get rid of that. So it's like people get scared. They're like, oh my gosh, well, what if it doesn't work out? It's like, I put everybody on a 90-day probation period because it has to show fruit in my business. And if it doesn't, then clearly that was the wrong choice to make. Move on.
Yeah. Yeah. What I really think is cool to think about is it's flexible. There's no black or white. There's no, 1-lane highway. It's like a 5-lane highway with bends and curves, and you can change and you can reflect and you can pivot anytime that you want to, but you have to have the open-mindedness to do so.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
You worked your business for years. You've created success. You've duplicated yourself. And now you are creating things of course, for network marketing, but really any business owner who wants to learn and grow. So tell us a little bit about what Mommy Millionaire is all about.
Okay. So yeah, it started out, I started Mommy Millionaire, which is crazy, as a social media marketing company. So I wanted to help people market themselves on social media. And so I started out by helping people in traditional businesses. I went out and got local businesses, specifically gyms, and helped them market themselves online. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I hate this. I do not want to do this. So pivot, we're not doing this, changing. Then I did a YouTube channel and I was like, I was interviewing people on YouTube. I was like, I don't really like this. And pivot again, started the podcast. And then I loved the podcast. Okay. So the reason why I share that backstory is, right, like you said about flexibility, it was like, if you don't love it, like give yourself permission to move on to the next thing. And here we go. Anyway, so we started the podcast and then I started doing like group coaching programs, and I had no idea what I was doing, like on how to market myself or anything like that. And I had a multi-6-figure launch with my first group coaching program. And I'm telling you, this was all organic, 0 paid ads, nothing. And it was just like, using the power of the brand that I had built. So then I did a live event and loved doing that. I was already doing private coaching, one-on-one coaching. And in 2019, I started my membership group called the Millionaire Society. And this is a very low cost program. People get in $67 a month. And I go live in there 3 times a week, giving educational trainings. But we talk mainly about mindset, the mindset behind being a millionaire-ess. And, it's been absolutely incredible to do that. Then I also have a mastermind I was talking to you about that is for high level, at least 6-figure entrepreneurs, if not 7-figure entrepreneurs that are just looking to scale and be a part of a sisterhood. So there's a lot that we're doing at Mommy Millionaire, but the number one mission of Mommy Millionaire is to help create 1 million millionaires that are female. Okay. And so that has always been important to me. Since I was 23 years old, was first I wanted to be a millionaire. And then I realized, okay, this is pretty easy. Let's make sure everybody knows it's easy. And I truly believe it's not just in network marketing, right? Like, so I was able to create Mommy Millionaire into a 7-figure brand in less than 12 months because of everything I had done in network marketing. Plus also I had sales experience before that. So I had a lot of experience that led me up to that spot, which now I give back to the Mommy Millionaires. So that way, if you want to do it, you can do it. You can create a 7-figure brand for yourself.
Why is 1 million millionaires important to you that are women?
Okay. So first of all, I was raised by a single mom, and I grew up with my dad in jail, and I had a little brother and a stepdad that I hated. And all that my parents, my stepdad and my mom would fight about money all the time. And so to me, like money was the answer to all of our life's problems. Okay. That was my paradigm. And so that's why, I got a job as a nurse, was because that was going to be stable and I would always have a job, because my stepdad was always losing his job. So I had this need to be secure and to feel, like certain about my finances. And then what happened was I made a lot of money, and I realized that money really does solve a lot of problems. And it doesn't make you happy. You can be happy at any point in your life, right? And what I saw though is that people, not just my mom, were suffering from, being broke, but 95% of the world is struggling from being broke. And knowing what I know, it is my duty, it is my obligation, it is my life's purpose to help people get out of that struggle, because all it is a mindset shift. It's literally, you're so focused on the brokenness of your life that if you just shifted literally 2 degrees and you saw the open door right next to that brokenness, everything could change in your life. And that's why I have to do it. 1 million is because it's such a big number, right? It's like, whoa, 1 million people making $1 million. Are you kidding me? But what I know about females is we were made by God to be nurturers, to take care, to fix, right? And money in female hands is the best place that it could be, because we're not just going to buy the Chanel bags and buy all the nice things. We're going to stop homelessness. We're going to feed the starving children. We're going to build schools in third world countries so every child could read and have the opportunity that we want them to have. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why it's such a big mission to me. And like, it gets me going, like, look, I'm getting revved up just thinking about it right now. Like, we're doing it, you know? I'm so excited about it because like men are great. I love men. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a man hater. I love my husband, but like, there's just female, I think that there's this drive out there in the world because a lot of the top influencers are male and everything is so masculine energy, right? And that's one of the things that people love about network marketing. That's why they're drawn to it, is the feminine energy. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of males that do really well in network marketing. I mean, let's face it, it's females that are killing it in network marketing. If we could harness that feminine energy and build a business the way only a woman can build a business, whoo, game on. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's our duty. It's just like you. That's why you're doing this podcast. If you feel an obligation, you have to share what you've learned.
Well, and I was going to say, I mean, you guys can feel the passion, right? You can feel the passion. And I've often said it myself, like, it is my job to turn people on. Like I feel like that's my job. I was a clinical psychologist before this. So I was always in the business of helping people like line up with who they are and thrive. And I now get to do it in a space where people want change and want help and want to grow. And I hope all of our listeners out there have that thing that lights them up inside, right? That thing that sparks where you go, I will stay up later to do this. I will get up early. I will get up at 6 a.m. to do a 15-minute call with a frog voice because I'm passionate about what I'm doing and I know that it's going to be helpful. So I want to hear a story of somebody that you've worked with where you felt like, oh my gosh, they had that 2% little shift and you could see the change within them that led to physical change.
Oh my gosh. Okay. There's so many. And it's funny because right now I'm writing my next book and it's all stories like this. And so I'll give you an example of one that I just gave to my writer yesterday. There is this woman who joined my membership group back in June when I first launched it. And I do live coaching in there. So you'll come on and I'll ask you questions and all this kind of stuff. And what she said was that she was really struggling with like figuring out what she wanted to do with her life. And she just felt like, you know, she wasn't doing enough. She had 5 kids. She was a wife and she just never had enough paycheck. Like it was just like this ongoing, like not enough theme in her life. And I could have given her strategy and gave her business advice on how to go out there and make money. But the number one thing I told her to do was actually something a lot of people don't do enough of. And I said, go and enjoy your life for 30 days. Go play and have some fun for 30 days. That's all you can do. Stop asking. Every time you have this question in your mind of like, what should I be doing with my life? Go and have more fun. Like literally go and get on a swing at the playground with your kids. Like don't think about it. And in 30 days, she came back and decided she wanted to start a podcast and give back and help women that felt like her, 10 years ago. That was like what she came up with. And so now she's created a business in less than 4 months and is profitable, which is amazing, especially after investing a lot in her business. She's reached profit and has finally and grown her audience. Like all these things are changing in her life. It's absolutely incredible because we first helped her like, nothing is wrong with you, actually. Like she had this thing, something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. It was like, no, wait, whoa. Nothing is wrong with you. Go have some fun. Because the number one thing that people are doing is they're in that feeling of feeling not enough, feeling like something's wrong with them. These stories that we tell ourselves that are not serving us. And so when you get into play and you change your state, a lot will shift for you in your life. And you'll start seeing like, oh my gosh, so much goodness is in my life. And you have like so much abundance right now. So yeah.
I love that. You got her into play, you got her into joy, which then creativity came, and she started having that inspiration because she wasn't focused on the struggle. She was focused on enjoying life. And guess what? More came.
Exactly.
I love it. Now, you wrote a book about this too. It's called The Habit of Leading Yourself, a 1-year guide to becoming unstoppable. And it sounds like you give some coaching throughout this book. Can you tell us a bit more about what it is?
Yes. And this is actually now available for free for people. If you guys head over to my book, mommymillionaire.co, you guys can download the complete book and print it out and like use it as a workbook, because that's what it is. It's a workbook. Every week I give you a new habit to work on in your life. So it's a perfect thing to start 2020 off with. And all you have to do is give me your email and I'll give you the whole entire book for free. So super cool. I'm really excited about it because I thought about when I wrote this book, I was like, what could I have given to my little brother when he was like 18 years old to like help him start in personal development and help him realize that like he's the creator of his destiny. Like he could really like, set his sails whatever way he wants to set them. But so it's not like too woo-woo, right? It's not like too like, oh my gosh, that doesn't make sense. It's very like basic, like little bite-sized things that you could use to implement into your life. One of the first chapters is all about detoxing, and not just your body, but your mind, right? So like going and getting off social media. Don't check your email for a week. Don't check TV. Like literally take all input out of the equation and see how different you feel in your life. Like, whoa, everything could change for you like pretty quickly when you follow a detox formula. So yeah, there's little things like that. I'm obsessed with it. That's why I'm giving it away for free.
mommymillionaire.co. Put your information in and you get the entire book. That is a steal of a deal, you guys. And it's something that you can implement every single week.
Yes.
Use the skills and see your own shifts.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Awesome. So a couple questions, last questions for you. The first one is, what are you working on right now that you're most excited about?
Oh my gosh. Okay. There's so many things that are exciting. Every time I talk to people, I'm like, I'm so excited about this. So right now, I just launched my first ever certification program. We're certifying Mommy Millionaire Lifestyle Strategist. And so currently the program is full, but we will reopen it again in 2020. But I have never been more excited because so many people wanted to be coached by me privately. And I no longer have the bandwidth to do really one-on-one coaching anymore. I only take 2 clients and I'm completely already booked for 2020. And I was like, how do I help more people? Because I was referring them out to all these other coaches. And I was like, they'd still come back to me and say, I want to work with you. And so that's why I started the society, right? And then people said that made the need even more. They're like, how do I work with you more? And I'm like, okay, it can't be me. We have to recreate the Mommy Millionaire method, right? So that's what we've done inside of the certification program. We're teaching people to help people design their best life. And we call it a strategist because it's not just coaching you on like helping you reframe your mindset. We're going to reframe your mindset and we're going to give you the strategy to actually accomplish your goals. So I'm really excited about that because the ripple effect that is going to happen, that's how I'm going to get to 1 million millionaires, right? Is having more people do what I do with my method, with the Mommy Millionaire method.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Who are you learning from right now? Or maybe some books you've read in the past that are like staples that you just refer people to all the time?
Oh my gosh. This is such a good question. And this is going to be interesting and it's going to sound really freaking weird, but the person I'm learning the most from right now is actually myself. And I'm not saying that in a braggy way, but for the first time in my life, I am journaling probably about an hour and a half a day. Okay. Before I would just journal in the morning. I do a brain dump and I'd get everything out that was in my mind out on paper. And what I found was that was doing great for a little bit, but I was always looking for outside validation, always for the outside teaching. And somebody finally said, like, you don't need any more teaching, Cayla. Like you have like everything you need, like all your life experiences, everything that you previously invested in is all inside of you. You just need to bring it out. And so I'm literally like realizing, oh my gosh, like some of the stuff I come up with on my paper, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is good. This is really good. So I'm learning a lot about myself and like things that happened to me in my childhood. And I'm just like, I'm healing a lot of it. And it's so freaking good. It's actually like, I've been sick for 6 weeks, which sounds crazy, but it's because I'm like shedding the old Cayla. And so I'm learning a lot about myself, and I think it's good. But somebody that really changed my life was a book called Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. You're nodding because it's like, that's like the typical, everybody in network marketing reads this book. It's like, you have to. That book changed everything for me, everything. And I thought it was so silly how he has you do, you got to like tap your head and say, I have a millionaire mind. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to do this. And then by like chapter 5, I was like doing it. I have a millionaire mind. And so I've never gone to any of his seminars or anything, but I recommend that book to every single person. I keep at least 5 in my house at all times. When people come over, I'm like, here, take it. You need this book, because it's so simple, right? Like the way that he tells the stories and stuff like that, it's such a freaking good book. Another book that I am obsessed with right now is, let's see, let's look right here. We're right here. Oh, right here. I'm reading Ryan Holiday's Stillness is the Key. So good. Again, I'm on that season though of being, even though there's a lot going on in my life, like I'm learning to chill. You could see I'm not a chill person. So this is a challenge for me, but this book is so good. So good. So yeah, I'm just constantly looking to learn. And I think all leaders are learners. What book are you reading right now?
Ooh, I did an interview with a guy named Ryan Godfredson, and he sent me his book called Success Mindsets. And so I'm reading that in the morning. And I agree. I love learning and teaching. So I'm always thinking about what I can, reading and listening to podcasts and YouTubes and all these things so that I can take it back to our organization.
Oh, I love that.
All right. One last question before we say goodbye tonight, you guys. And if you have not yet already, some of you have paused this and gone to millionairemamas.co to download the book. But if you have not yet, please go do so. And the links will be all in the description box below. But Cayla, one last question is what do you do every day that you couldn't live without to keep yourself full and inspired?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I exercise every single day. Yeah. I exercise and I do affirmations while I'm exercising. So that's a habit I got in a couple of years ago. So I like one of my favorite things to say is like, I'm making money whether I'm sleeping, eating, or playing. And that's something I'll say while I'm moving my body. I am brilliant. I am beautifully and wonderfully made. I'm a money magnet. Like I say all these things while I'm working out. So I don't listen to music or anything like that. I'm just like saying affirmations out loud, speaking life into myself, because every cell in your body is listening. And so I wanted to hear these things. And when you're working out, your body, like everything is active and awake and listening. So yeah, I'm huge on that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing a bit of your story and your wisdom with us today. You've got a lot of heart, a lot of passion, a lot of energy, and you can see why people want to connect with you, and you're building an amazing community surrounding your message because people change when they're in your presence. So you guys check it out. All the links for her social and the free book will be in the show notes below. And thank you so much, Cayla. It's been awesome to hear from you today.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I want to hear your aha moment from today's amazing episode. If you could leave a review at whatever podcast player you choose to listen from, Apple Podcast, Castbox, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're listening from, leave a review and share with us your favorite part of today's episode. Thanks for hanging out, and remember to dream big.